Hey, I'm getting ready. One of my daughters here for a fall hunt. And yes, I know it's 17 below out in Minnesota right now, and we are unboxing stuff. But that's what you do during the cold months. It's 17 below on the farm. There's 12 inches of snow practically on the ground between the last three snowfalls. So that means we work in the shop and we get ourselves ready for the fall. And one of the things that Tabitha has kind of worked on is hunting by herself in the last few years, and it's worked out really pretty good. She's had great success with some does, and she's had some excellent success with a massive turkey, all on her own. But this year coming up, she's got the opportunity to go out of state and hunt on her own, which is great. Granted, I'll be on the trip, but I won't be hunting with her. And we want to give her the best success we can. And she's going to be ground blind hunting out west, and she's going to be doing it for long stretches at a time. I can't be with her during all these moments and time out in the hunt, so I want her to not get fatigued and tired, and I want her to have the ability to work within the small confined space. So one of the things we do is we try to set them up to deal with the situation they're going to be in. That being the case, we're going to buy the ground blind so we can practice in it a bit. And in doing that, which we already did and we've already set it up, we've realized space is an issue for her to be able to set down the bow. That includes a vertical bow and her crossbow, and her crossbow even being somewhat more demanding. And if the shot arises where she needs to be out there taking a goat at like 50 yards, she's going to need some steadiness in that stand, especially if she's sat in there for 6 to 8 hours already at that point. So we reached out and started talking to our friends and see if we could figure out some way of giving her a little bit of support within that stand. And we figured that a chair and a tripod might be the best way to go. And based on price, I'm not buying a $2,000 tripod, folks. We went with the BOG's Deathgrip Infinite. And that's what we've unboxed here. She spent her time taking it out. You can see there's a bag. There's a bunch of ties that go with it and stuff to help make it go better. There's a nice head called a death grip on it. It has a Swiss mount, an Acar, how you say that, Swiss mount. It came with an optional optic plate. It has a hub-mounted gear hook kind of down at the bottom of it. Like I said, that case is somewhat padded but a little tight to get into. It seems to have a really nice grips on the head. Now, I know in the past people said they've stripped the screws and stuff on them. I don't think that's the case. They must have done some reworking because it doesn't look like these are the same that people are complaining about. These are rubber. They go right into the screw. They've got a nice driving stud in the top head there to keep it in place. They've got big, robust rubber feet with a removable little steel spike at the bottom of them. They got a nice rubber leg retention strap, which I'm sure if you crank down it too hard, you probably could break that. It's got the ball head tripod at the top. Of course, with the death grip on top, it can go almost anywhere, which is great. So we brought out the crossbow here so she can kind of work with that first. She's got the Mission crossbow, one of the subs out here that works really well for her. She's got legs on it, so I'm just going to have her leave the legs on it for right now so she can just get used to this. And we're going to start practicing on this, aluminum legged beast and see if we can kind of get to the point where eventually, she feels real comfortable with it. Because it's got three different angles, I'm showing her how to set it up with the 20-degree angle. This thing can really angle out, folks. For its weight of about 8 pounds, I think it goes up to almost 60 inches. And it goes all the way down to like 6.5 inches. So you could literally shoot a rifle off the ground on this thing if you really wanted to. But regardless of that, it's got great range, but she doesn't need all that range. So she's just going to set it up the best she can. I'm also going to teach her how to work with the pivot where it's in a loose state. So that means it's quiet when she picks it up to get it into position versus having it in a fixed state where she's got to loosen it if she has to move for that animal. So here it's in the fixed state and it's holding up this crossbow quite well. Again, this thing weighs about 8 pounds. So we're going to have to get her used to carrying the chair and the bipod and the crossbow in her hunting bag all out into her stand at the same time. So what better way to do it in the cold? Again, it's snowing, it's cold outside, so we sit in the shop where it's about 60 degrees and we make it work. She's getting the feel of these legs. She understands how they are. These are twist lock legs, so you slide them up and then you twist them. I really do prefer that than the little flimsy latches, because if a latch breaks out there, you're kind of in trouble. If a leg in a turn situation were to fail, I could use the next leg down below it to make the adjustment. So that's why I kind of like that. So I do like that on this BOG. I don't know if she'll use the gear hook underneath it much, and we don't have a little gig bag to stick on it yet, so I don't know if that's going to be usable to us. But overall, like, she's just sitting on a 5-gallon pail here to start. We have to pick a chair out. We're working on that. That's going to work for her. I'm very picky on chairs. If I'm going to spend that kind of money for a $100 to $200 chair, it better be something that can last a long time. I'm much more picky about the chair than I almost am this tripod. But either way, she's getting the feel of it here. She understands that it's got really good mobility when it's loose. And then she can also understand how she can set the bow down on it and then pick the bow up into a raised position. When you're a young shooter, folks, and you've got all the stress of being able to try to take humanely that first animal in a certain species, in this case it'll be a goat, you know, she doesn't need the stress of trying to get a sage goat to be complicated by, you know, odd legs on a tripod or a head that she can't figure out how to turn. So that's why I'm doing this, folks. I think this will work out really well for her. I'm really liking how the BOG here's Deathgrip holds, and I'm liking the Infinite's little ball, and I'm liking how it screws down. I think it's going to work really well for her. So I appreciate you liking. Follow along on our channel. The next video out we'll probably do will be a chair once we get that picked out.